Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. This is the 66th part of What If Deku Was Sanji's Reincarnation, My Heroes Reborn. The author of this great fanfic is Emily. Links to them and original story in the description. Chapter 66, Crazy Color. Hibiki slammed his face into the table of the room while All Might's sweat dropped. "See, this why you shouldn't let spite make your decisions," said Aiko. "You helped him goad me," yelled Hibiki. "Whatever," said Aiko. Hibiki just sighed. "What about the other two?" asked All Might. "Oh, it's going to be fine," said Hibiki, considering her Quirk and Momo's, Chuko will be able to push to her limits. All Might nodded, remembering that it would be a difficult fight for Momo either way. "As for Aoi, it's going to be an interesting fight," said Hibiki. "When you were a very old alien time traveler who traveled through all of time and space, nothing surprised people anymore." "Yeah," said All Might. "Wait, what?" "Yeah, his past life was weird, and he's pretty open about it," said Hibiki. "I see," said All Might. Meanwhile, in the training ground, the one resembled a suburban area. The two had met. "So, are you ready?" asked Aoi. "Oh yeah," said Toru. "Okay. Then let's begin," said Aoi. "Okay," said Toru. She took out some of her party bazooka, however Aoi touched something in the back of neck. Suddenly his hair and eye turned green. And he disappeared from his spot. "What?" asked Toru. That was when Toru got a weird shudder and had to dodge. "Nice move," said Aoi. He then seemingly disappeared again, but then Toru dodged a blur. "You have super speed," said Toru. "Not just that," said Aoi. "Look like I have really get serious then," said Toru. She took out appeared to be some sort of party Gatling gun. He sped away but then noticed he was barely fast enough. He touched the back of his neck again and his hair and eyes turned cyan. He then took to the air. "You can fly?" asked Toru. "I have many abilities," said Aoi. Toru still had her Gatling gun out and Aoi still tried to dodge. But his flight wasn't enough. He managed to get down to the ground. He touched the back of his neck again and his hair and eyes switched to magenta. He held out his hand and all of the party bullets were floating in midair. "Yeah. I guess I should have started with this one from the start," said Aoi. He then launched the party bullet back, which Toru dodged. In the observation room, almost everyone was confused at his quirk. "What is Quirk exactly?" asked Kaminari. "He has a node on the back of his neck. If either a primary color or secondary color hits it, then he gains a different power. It also changes his hair and eye color. He has a special light placed on the node to properly use his quirk. If it's green he gains super speed, if it's cyan he has flight, and if it's magenta he gains telekinesis. Also if it's blue he gains the ability to breathe underwater," explained Izuku, "though the last one he won't show, so I figured I should mention that one." Everyone realized he wasn't going to bring up red or yellow unless he shows it off. "Wait. If he's that amazing, why haven't we heard of him?" asked Sato. "It's a jack of trades thing. He's not the fastest in both flight and running speed, his telekinesis skills are just average, and he's not the best swimmer," said Izuku. "That does make sense," said Achiko. "Wait, what about his past life?" asked Tsuyu. "He mostly got a lot smarter," said Izuku. "Wait, you know him or something?" asked Kaminari. "Hibiki introduced us before the summer camp. We really hit it off and we ended up exchanging email addresses," explained Izuku. It did make sense as the two did share a hobby of quirk analysis. "Oh, that's cool," said Mina. Izuku nodded. Back on the training ground, Toru knew she had to up her game and figured it was time to mix things from her party weaponry. "Here's something new I've been working on," said Toru. Aoi looked at her. That was when she emitted a flash of light from her body. "Oh cool," said Aoi with his eyes sparkling, "but you made a mistake." He then touched the device. Suddenly the light died down. And Aoi was holding a glowing orb while his hair and eyes were yellow. "You can control light," yelled Toru. "Just when I'm aborting yellow light," said Aoi. "Wow," said Toru, "I guess I shouldn't be using that move against you." That was when she pulled out several party cannons. "Guess I just have to use stealth and party supplies," said Toru. She shot the parody cannons as him. However, he switched back to telekinesis and he stopped the party supplied stopped at him. He then sent it back at her. "In the observation room." "That's average telekinesis?" asked Kaminari. "Yeah, it is. I've seen a lot more crazier things with telekinesis," said Izuku, who had explained earlier that his Lightman Laplation wasn't the best either. "Really, why?" asked Achiko. "I don't want to talk about it," sighed Izuku. Someone was about to ask. "Don't fucking ask him," yelled Katsuki. Everyone became quiet and they quickly realized it was one of those things that had to do with him being a late bloomer. That was when Mashireo got to the observation room. "Hey, what's wrong?" asked Mashireo. "It's better if you don't know," muttered Katsuki. Back at the training ground, Toru got more of her party weapons ready. She began to fire on him. And he caught it with his telekinesis. However, that when it exploded suddenly with a burst of confetti that was pretty sharp. "Okay, wasn't expecting that," said Aoi. "Yep. I'm full of surprises," said Toru, who had snacked behind him with a kick. "I'd rather not use this part of my quirk with you, but I guess I have to get physical," said Aoi. He touched the device on the back of his neck, switched to red. He then feinted a punch toward Toru. Toru managed to dodge, especially since it was clear he didn't manage to land a hit. However, he managed to punch a wall that left a bit of a crater. Back in the observation room. "So red is super strength," said Achiko. "That's right," said Izuku. They didn't need any more about why he wasn't the strongest in that. Heroes with super or strength enhancement quirks were a dime a dozen. It made sense why his wouldn't gain much attention with that. Back in the battlefield, Toru saw that. "You know, it's probably not a good idea to do that again," said Toru. "You're quite right, that was a bad idea," said Aoi. "Wait, were you trying to show off all the colors?" asked Toru. "Well, the ones I can right now. I can't show off blue," said Aoi. "I don't have enough water." "That makes sense," said Toru. "All right. Let's keep going," said Toru. "She brought you more party weapons." She shot at him as he switched back to green and sped away. He then switched to telekinesis and blasted back the other weapons back at her. "Time to get serious," said Toru. That was when Toru pulled out Twilight from somewhere, again. "Again!" yelled Twilight. "Sorry," said Toru. She once again used the alicorn as a Gatling gun before sending her back to Equestria. In the observation room, the class gaped at this. Those Izuku, Katsuki, and Mashireo all quickly recovered due to the fact that, well, that was not the weirdest things they had ever seen. Aizawa, on the other hand, looked like he needed something to drink, but it wasn't a good idea as he was still on the job after all. "This was what you saw during the fight at camp," said Mina. Kyoka nodded. "Back on the battlefield." "Okay, I think that's enough," said Toru. "Seriously?" asked Aoi. There was an awkward silence. "Are you nodding?" asked Aoi. "I'm nodding," said Toru. "Well, I meant to show off what I can do, and it's better if I don't push my limits." said Toru, I'm going to honest. I've been limiting myself due to certain reasons and no one wants to see me go full Pinkie Pie. Are you sure? Asked Aoi. Do you want a musical number? Asked Toru, but not everyone has the weirdness limits that you do, and several of the other reincarnations. Okay, you have a point, said Aoi. Also, the lockdown-induced writer's block combined with this arc isn't helping, said Toru. Huh? Asked Aoi. Like I said, no one wants me to go full Pinkie Pie, said Toru, plus it's kind of hard to top pulling out Twilight again. Okay, you have a point, said Aoi. It was clear in the observation room that Toru was giving up. Everyone was just confused. Why is she giving up? Asked Kaminari. I think it's hard to top pulling someone from another universe into this one, said Ochako. Wait, shouldn't have she turned human if she brought to this world? Realized Mashireo. Let's just not question it, said Izuku. Okay, fair enough, said Mashireo. Okay, what were your old worlds like? Asked Kaminari. You don't want to know, muttered Izuku, Katsuki and Mashireo at the same time. Anyways, it's my turn, said Momo. You better make it good, said Katsuki. Momo nodded as she left. And with that, the third of the reassessments concluded. However, the next three would be the ones that would really interesting. After all, the three of them were very powerful fights in their past lives. That will be it for this part. I hope everyone enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like and comment if you want part 67. If you want to hear more from me, subscribe. I hope to see you all in the next one.